Welcome, 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 everyone. We're going to give it a couple more minutes for people to come in. In the meantime, I invite you to listen to some music. So we'll have some goody goods on. All right. Welcome to the live stream. We're going to get kicked off in another couple minutes. Welcome, 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 everyone. Thank you for joining this webinar, Armor Up, Revealing Strength Through Authenticity. I'm excited to share this information with you all today and explore concepts around men's mental health, especially mental health for men of color. And before we get started, I want to share a quote that contributes to the theme of today's webinar. If you wear a mask long enough, you forget who you are underneath it. That's said by Alan Moore. And this quote is my story. For the majority of my life, I've worn masks and I've worn armor to cover up and be someone else. And I've lived my life as a people pleaser. I'm recovering right now, and oftentimes play roles in various scenarios to either be accepted or to survive, when I would often be one of the only men or only person of color in the room. It all took toll on me when I started to battle anxiety and depressed states, and I came to the brink of taking my own life. Fortunately, with support and practices, I was able to get to the root of my sufferings and the lessons I've learned, and I'm expressing through this webinar, Armor Up, Revealing Strength Through Authenticity. So welcome, everyone. It is a pleasure to share and be here with you all. Welcome to Armor Up, Revealing Strength Through Authenticity. This is a presentation and something of the Heal Thy Mental experience. This is about men's mental health, specifically men's mental health for men of color. My name is Paul Newell, and I'm going to be the facilitator and guide for this presentation today. And I thank you for joining. And this is going to be a webinar that's going to require your participation. So I invite you, if you have yet to, grab yourself a pen and paper, get yourself comfortable, and be prepared to write down some notes. And also, as we go through this, if you're looking at this through the live stream, you can put in comments. We'll address the comments and questions in the Q&A that's going to be after this presentation. As part of this, and as part of the way that I like to do things within the men's mental health space, is we're going to have a short visualization towards the end of this stream. This is going to be a way to really incorporate and integrate the information that we're talking about in this presentation. Now, this presentation today is a offshoot or a branch of a book that I wrote in 2022 called Heal Thy Men Experience. It's a pocketbook guide for self-fulfillment and self-awareness for men. Now, when I wrote this book, I wrote this chapter in it called Armor Up. And it really meant a lot to me because for me, as I mentioned, I spent the majority of my life behind a mask and armoring myself until I truly recognized that, whoa, this armor is something that's impacting me in a way and is having an impact on other things in my life as well. So this contributes to the goal and the root of what we're going to do today, and that's really to get to the heart of the reasons behind why we as men of color root or choose to mask ourselves, choose to hide our authentic ability, our authentic contributions. And in this, we're also going to uncover what are the different ways that we can present ourselves to the world and also explore what we protect. So, the first thing I want us to really look into, and this is a question. Again, get your pad out. This is an opportunity to really explore and think of some things. Blessings, Neftari. Nice to see you. Thank you. So it's a great opportunity for us to explore these different concepts. So when I mentioned before, when you even saw this invitation, what came to mind for you when you heard or read the word armor up? Take a moment, think about this. What comes to mind when you hear or read armor up? And write this down. Again, we can come back to this in the comments. And again, if you're streaming or you're watching this at a later time, you can write it down in the comments or again, write it down for yourself. Consider what comes to mind. Consider what type of energy or feeling are you beginning to get when you hear or read the words armor up. We're going to take another couple of seconds. Okay. Now, one of the things with armoring up, this whole concept, it really started to unearth in me when I came up. I'm just going to stop to share for a moment. This whole concept of armoring up truly came to me when I started writing the first portion of my book called Step into the Arena. And when I was thinking about Step into the Arena is about a self-awareness. And when I was thinking about this, I said, wow, if I'm going into arena and I'm battling myself, I know that what do gladiators, what do people in an arena have? They have an armor. What's the reason? So when I looked at this and I really started to look up armor, and I'm a word geek. So whenever I see words, I'm looking up what is the meaning of this rather than looking on a general interpretation. What is the meaning of this? I looked at this as an armor is in a physical context. It's a protective covering used in battle. The thing that I thought was also interesting in relation to how we cover up our authentic selves and in relation to men's mental health, when I looked at the emotional and social aspect of it, armor refers to the defenses that we put up to protect ourselves. I want you to take a moment and think about that concept. The defenses we put up to protect ourselves. For the past, it's going on 8 years now, I've been doing the majority of my work with men. And I found that there are a lot of ways, even though there are perceptions of as that men are supposed to be strong, there's still a perception that they have to protect themselves from something or they need to protect something that's sacred, protect themselves from something or protect something that's sacred. Now this really resonated with me because I remember it brought me to a space of reflecting on my own personal experience. And my own personal experience goes back to growing up in this town in New Jersey that's fairly affluent, coming from parents that came from Jamaica. Like for me, it was I was playing both sides of the fence because in one instance, black people didn't accept me because I wasn't black enough. And then also in the other instance, white people didn't accept me because I wasn't white, and also I wasn't rich like these cats. So it had me starting from a young age to start to armor or mask myself. And in looking back, I thought I was being open, but in reality, what was happening was I was presenting myself in a way that would be accepted, or as I mentioned before, in a way that I would survive. Because being one of the few in a large space is, I tell you, it's been intimidating for me in the past. I don't know how it's been for you, but for me, it's been intimidating. And it created a space for me to have a tremendous amount of anxiety. It prevented me from connecting. Now, this is where it comes into the mental health experience, because when a man, and what I see as a man of color, when we start to cover up, we start to hide and diminish ourselves, which from my experience and what I've seen creates anxiety. It can create a depressed state. I'm free of saying depression because I want us to be free of owning it. This space that we're in, this depressed state, is a space. It's temporary. It's part of a rhythm. It can move on and forward. When I realized that by me covering up all these times, I was failing to trust anyone. So that had me feeling that I was alone, or thinking that I was alone. And what also happened was that I really started to create a dis-ease within myself that resulted in high blood pressure, physical pains, and also a lot of lethargic, lack of energy that was starting to slow me down and starting to diminish me and pull me away from my goals and mission. It also tailored, as I look back, it tailored how I interacted with others, which, looking back on and taking full responsibility, there are some things that contributed to my marriage not even working out, to me losing different jobs. So a lot of this has contributed to this point of wanting to armor up. Now, what's interesting, I want us to all take a moment and think about, when are the moments that you think you need to armor up? When are the moments in your life when you think you need to armor up? Personal example. When I worked in the big corporate companies, I thought I had to armor up all the time. There was a part in me as a man of color thinking that I had to be an example of what black men could be. So I would talk the talk, walk the walk, dress the dress, but I refused to really let them in and let them see me. Now, here's the thing that was really difficult. Rather than truly express myself, I went to vices, went to alcohol, drugs, sex, the whole gambit. Anything to make me feel something, because when I was masking up and covering up, I felt absolutely nothing. And this is something that's happening for men. They live lives of quiet desperation, thinking like no one really cares. And they cover up and they think they have to be and present themselves in a certain way that is far from the truth. Now, when we look at this, when I want you to think about those moments in your life when you think you have to mask or wear or armor up. And I want us, whatever those feelings are, we're going to take this opportunity to be judgment free. Acknowledge those feelings and expressions that you have about this state. And I want you to explore and understand that there is a concept, there is something that exists that has you experience things the way, or has you think you need to do or cover or be someone. Now remember, coming back to the original definition of armor, it's a protective covering, right? Protective covering. So, what is covering? Covering is actually a concept that was explored in studies. And what happened, what they found was that uh, people uh, people would tend to cover themselves as a strategy to help others identify who they are. So they would change their appearance. As I mentioned before, I would change my voice. Like I remember in corporate, I would have this, like my voice would actually go higher. And now I'm learning about sound frequencies and vibrations. That was my way of having other people envision me as safe. I'm not going to hurt you. Because as a man of color, there's a constant perception out there that I'm violent, that I'm going to punch you in the face, that I'm ignorant. So these type of things can have a man of color or a man or people cover themselves. And it's a perception. If you notice the second part here, there's a perception that if I truly express who I am, it may harm me. And that's something I've experienced as well for a lot of years. Like I would refuse to really express who I was. I would do this in relationships. I would do this at work. I would do this in my personal life. And it got to the point, people, that I didn't know who I was. And that led to the space where I wanted to kill myself. I didn't think that I didn't think that there was another way. I thought that I had tried everything. I thought that I had done everything that I'm supposed to do. And I wore the mask. I did the things. I went to school, blah, 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 but I still was unfulfilled. I still felt like crap. I was still drinking. I was still numbing myself and all these different things. These were all forms of armor. These were all my defense mechanisms from truly feeling. And this is the thing when I started to really recognize and dive into this is that when I explored the reasons I'm covering, I started to notice and do more research. This covering concept and study noticed that covering happens in four different ways. So the covering can happen to really get specific with it. The covering can happen where it's appearance based. So I will adjust my appearance to fit in or to really go along with the crowd. Affiliation based is I'm going to act or shift how I maneuver to be free of associating with a specific culture, group. Um, Same thing with advocacy. Like I'm going to separate myself or do something different to prove, hey, I'm not like that. I'm not this. And it's the same thing that goes with association. I'm going to separate myself or I'm going to do something that's out of my character or that's outside of me to fit in. Now, listen to what I just said, something that's outside of me to fit in. When we look at a lot of the mental health struggles that happen, there can be a sense of being lost, being stuck, not unknowing as to what's the best direction to go next. I witness and I acknowledge for myself and with the men that I've worked with, a lot of it starts to course correct when we start to get intentional with where we are going in our life, where we're going in our situation. Where do we want to go? Who are we? Right? Who are we? So part of what I found when I started to look at how I'm armoring up was started to get to the root. Well, hey, if I got this armor, then what the heck is this armor protecting? So looking at the armor literally physically protects our vital organs, right? If you look at the image on the screen, he's protecting his throat, he's protecting his chest, his heart, his lungs, his organs. So, and he also, if you look at the shoulder, he also has the ability to move and he's protecting that shoulder. Now, when we look at the armor emotionally protects our heart, our feelings, our experiences. If you know, if thinking about even trauma, one of the things that locks in the trauma is the experience and the emotion or the feeling within it. When we look at mentally, the armor protects, or the armor is protecting the mind, the thoughts, the beliefs. So taking a moment here to acknowledge when we look at this, and I'm speaking for really anyone, but again, since the intention is for men of color, the invitation here is to look at what are the ways we can rewire our perception of our armor. So if we're going to use our armor to protect ourselves, what are the ways that we're truly protecting our body? What are the ways that we protect our heart, our feelings, our experiences? What are the ways that you protect and sharpen your mind, your thoughts, and your beliefs? Most of the time, what I think is interesting is that a lot of the times we fail to even look at this when we're dealing with mental health, like, or especially when we look at coming to our authentic selves. Because what it comes down to it is there's something sacred that we protect. And this happened for me to recognize, like, one of the sacred things my armor was protecting was my heart. Listen, I've been in some relationships. Oh, wait. I've been in some relationships that have torn me to shreds, left me broke, penniless, in a dark, deep place, thinking I may never get out. So what did I do? I armored up more. I armored up more. So now it had me really protecting my heart, thinking I was wise and like I'm learning my lessons. I was really just, I kept protecting my heart. And I kept finding that I was coming across the same type of relationships I had before. What's the reason, Paul? Well, I'm glad you asked. It's because I failed to acknowledge what I was protecting, which was my heart. Now I have the question, what is the reason I'm protecting my heart? Because I wanted to be free of getting hurt. Now, once I acknowledge that, this is a big piece of acknowledging where we are in our self worth. It's now is acknowledging our strength because again, with this rewire, if we look at hey, we're protecting our heart. Think about how sacred your heart is. I armor up and protect it too. Hey, what maybe if this armor that you're what you're protecting with this armor, with your armor, is an inner child that got hurt. That's brilliant, artistic, creative. When I'm working with men and as I go through and I support men in managing and enhancing their mental health, I look at mental health with mental faculties. We're going to get into that in a moment. But part of getting to that is starting to get men, and I'm inviting everyone to really look at this. It starts to look at what are the strategies for embracing the sacred self, that sacred part of you that you're protecting with your armor. So we're going to go over a couple of these things. We're going to wind down, and then we're going to go into a meditation. So what some of the things that come up when we look at the strategies for embracing self, sacred self, it's reflect regularly on your true strengths. What can happen here is that you know, to be transparent, a lot of times men are fail to get acknowledgement. A lot of times men fail to get acknowledgement. A lot of times men fail to even acknowledge themselves, the strengths that they have. This is a key piece to really look at what are the ways that we are, what are the things that come through that are brilliant? What's something that if I show the world could get me harmed? If you think about it, in most of our society, being different is ridiculed. Like if you think about some of our greatest leaders, X, King, when they were alive, people hated them. Now they're celebrated. So for them to truly be themselves, they had to tap into their strengths. Their strengths were moving people. Their strengths were pulling people into a vision. Their strengths were bringing something to the world that would bring a better collective for their people, for their culture. That takes strength. That and to get into and since it takes that strength, is key to reflect on where you are strong and what you are strong in. Next piece, practice being open and honest in safe environments. What do you mean, Paul? I'm glad you asked. That means find your space where you can be completely transparent and vulnerable. What? Yes. This is something I refer to with the men I work with. Find your king's court. Now, there's a lot of talk about, hey, you know what? In relationships, I want you to share with me everything. And I encourage men, no, don't, no. Share what's happening with you or for you with a group of men. This requires finding and establishing open, safe spaces. We're going to talk a little bit more about the Brotherhood of Kings, but this is one of the things that they do. We do. We provide a safe and open and transparent space for people to be honest and really explore what's happening for them, for people to be themselves, for people to test. One of the things that we love about the Brotherhood of Kings is we give men opportunity to lead circles. It gives men an opportunity to develop how they present to the world, what they present to the world. These are key things, people, because as we start to develop and have these spaces, we get more confident moving through the world without an armor. An armor can be great for us to protect us when we need it. But if we're constantly wearing an armor, that junk gets heavy. And you start walking in sludge, which is what a lot of people describe a depressed state as. Be mindful. Now, here's another piece. This is the last one here I have for this. Find a supportive community that values authenticity. Again, things like the Brotherhood of Kings. I know Act Now has circles. Nami and Jay has circles where you can go, you can be heard, you can be seen. When we talk about circles, supportive circles, that's what I consider it as. A place where you can actually be heard, free of people trying to convince or convict or convince you to do anything. And when we have these types of spaces, this is when we can integrate what it is, what it's like to really truly show up as our sacred self, and also explore what gets in the way of us showing our authentic selves. So this is where we can foster a deep understanding of ourselves and our self-acceptance and truly tap into unique strengths. So as men of color, this is something I'm inviting us to really tap into. Find that space for yourself, because now as we move on, more of these types of spaces are coming out and are being highlighted. Now, a couple things we talked about before as we start to wrap up, get ready for our meditation, is when I'm working with men, and one of the things with the Heal Thy Mental experiences is when we're dealing with mental health, we also want to look at enhancing the mental faculties. I have to say, as I started to work more in this mental health space, and as I did that, I was managing or learning or practicing with my support system, my court, my mentors, my teachers, my therapists, my coaches. I started to find that it's interesting. What is the measure of mental health? I get quirky and ask questions like that. How do we measure mental health? Like, how do we measure someone's mental health is getting better? So I started to research and look into this. And I looked and I came across the faculties, mental faculties. And I'm curious that most people fail to talk about that. What the heck is even a mental faculty? It's one of the inherent cognitive or perceptual powers of the mind. Now, this is interesting because one of the things I follow is something called Hermeticism. I like to study this. And one of the key concepts of Hermeticism is all is mind. So if I think something's happening, it's happening. If I want something to happen and I think it and I sense it and I truly believe it in my mind, it's real. So look at this, one of the inherent cognitive or perceptual powers of the mind. When we look at mental health, the conditions around the world, and we look at the social environment, a lot of the things that are in our environment are encouraging a depressed and anxious state. From the music, the frequency in the music, the content, the context in the things that are being presented to us are creating a state that is damaging us physically by the food, by our depressed state can lead to poor food choices, emotionally and mentally. These different pieces are impacted. So when we look at mental faculties, one of the things we're aiming to do here is starting to enhance these six faculties: imagination, will, perception, intuition, reason, memory. These are the faculties within these experiences we are looking to enhance. When we focus on enhancing, again, all is mind, we're taking our mental energies and focusing on how we enhance our imagination to visualize something that we want to happen. How do we hone and harness our will to have the discipline to carry out the actions? How are we manage our perception? So rather than always seeing something as negative, what is a way I can see a strength in that perceived mishap? Intuition, what are the ways that I practice listening to my gut? Reason, rather than getting upset or overly emotional, do I have the ability to observe my emotion and then come to a decision on something of importance? Memory. Am I willing to honor the memories that have me protecting or have me seeing the world in a certain way? Then create and be willing to embrace new things from those memories. It's a slightly different spin on this, yet at the same time, it starts to redirect our mental, emotional, and physical energies into something that is constructive. Now, one of the things I'm a very I like to look at different strategies and start to pull different things in. And one of the things I like to do, or I'm as part of my practice, is meditation, visualization, and journeying. So what we're going to do at this point is we're going to go on a journey. I'm going to take you through a progressive relaxation and visualization. You're going to get to go relax. And there's a couple ground rules with this. Be willing to have an imagination like a kid. Be judgment free and have fun. So this is what we're going to do. I'm going to place a screen up. You can either close your eyes or you can focus in on the labyrinth as you listen intently to the words that I'm speaking. Allow whatever comes up from the words to come up. Take a nice deep inhale through your nostrils. Slowly exhale through your mouth. Take another nice, slow, deep inhale. Exhale slowly. One more breath in and hold. Experience your body expanded. Now slowly exhale either through your nose or nostrils and let your breath return to its normal rhythm. Feel your body sink into the ground beneath you, supported, safe. Begin imagining roots growing from the base of your spine and the soles of your feet. Now extending as you exhale deep into the earth. These roots ground you, connect you to Earth's nurturing energy. Feel the stability and strength of the earth flowing through these roots, filling your body with a sense of calm and security. Set the intention to connect with your sacred armor. This journey is about understanding and embracing the armor that protects you, as well as recognizing how it holds you back. Trust that whatever you experience is exactly what you need in this moment. Imagine yourself standing at the entrance of a sacred forest. This forest is ancient, wise, and filled with powerful energy. As you step into the forest, you notice a path illuminated by a soft golden light. Follow this path, knowing it will lead you to a place of deep insight and connection. As you walk, you feel the presence of your guides and protectors. They are here to support you on this journey. Experience that sense of safety and support and the readiness to explore. The path leads you to a clearing in the forest, and in the center of the clearing, you see a beautiful ancient tree with a hollow at its base. You know that this hollow holds the key to understanding your sacred armor. Take a moment to approach the tree, and as you peer into the hollow, you see a vision of your armor. Notice the details, markings, materials. What does your armor look like? Is it metal, leather, something else entirely different? Does it look heavy or light? Is it intricately designed or simple and plain? What does your armor protect? Focus on the parts of yourself that this armor shields. Is it your heart, your mind, your spirit, or something else? Feel the sense of safety and protection it provides. What are the ways your armor harms you? Reflect on how this armor might be holding you back. Is it keeping you from fully expressing yourself, connecting with others, or experiencing life to the fullest? Now imagine yourself reaching out and touching your armor. Feel its texture, its weight, and as you do, acknowledge the protection it has provided you. Thank it for keeping you safe. Next, gently ask your armor if it's willing to show you a way to be more flexible, to allow more of your true self to shine through while still offering protection when needed. Now, visualize your armor beginning to shift, transform. Perhaps it becomes lighter, more transparent, or changes in a way that allows you to move more freely and authentically. Feel the new energy and possibilities that come from this transformation. Stand tall in your new transformed armor. Feel the confidence and strength that comes from being able to protect yourself while also showing up authentically in the world. Take a moment to fully integrate this feeling. Thank the tree, Thank the forest for their wisdom and guidance. Begin to walk back down the path feeling lighter, more connected to your true self. And as you reach the entrance of the forest, take a deep breath. And when you're ready, slowly open your welcome back. Take a moment to reflect on your journey. Write some things down that you saw, experienced, and the insights you gained. Remembering you can return to this place of connection and transformation whenever you need to. Trusting your ability to show up in the world with confidence, protection, and authenticity. Take a moment to write down what came up for you. Mm. Bless up, bless up, bless up, bless up. Yeah, buddy. Welcome back. Welcome back. So we're gonna tap in, like, I'm gonna bring in a couple guests that help put this thing together, help inspire this, and finish up writing. I want to take an opportunity. Thank you, thank you, thank you. We had our presentation, we had our meditation. Now we're going to go into a question and answer. Before I do that though, I want to take the time to acknowledge a couple key folks up in the piece. First of all, I want to acknowledge and thank the Brotherhood of Kings Collective. I mentioned this in the circle. I've been a part of this organization for the past 3 years. This is a dedicated group of inspirational men of color. Listen, we are passionate about and committed to empowering us, men of color, to invest in their personal growth and development. Every man is here to create and has the ability to create inner peace, dynamic health, great relationships. And these circles that we have, Saturdays, Wednesdays, we got some trainings coming up. We got some mentorships coming up. Listen, this spot is so fresh, it's so beautiful, and it's amazing to see the wide age range of men that come and participate in this goodness that we have every Saturday and every Wednesday. I want to take the opportunity now. I'm going to bring a couple key folks on stage. I'm in a singing mode because I'm so excited that we just did this. And I'm so excited that this is out here. Mind you, there's going to be a recording and follow up to this wonderful. Well, I can't say what I'm happy to put this out here. This presentation. So thank you to Mariam Saluki with Act Now and Donna Williams. I want to say a couple things about these two powerful, beautiful spirits, energies. Yes, all the goodness. So listen, Act Now. I just want to say, Saluki Mariam is a member of the advisory board for Act Now, and you can reach her with for additional information. What's Act Now? You say? I'm glad you asked.
Mhm.
Act Now is one of the 4 multicultural groups under NAMI New Jersey umbrella. It stands for the African American Community Together Now. It was created by Cynthia Miles and Sylvia Axelrod, the first executive director of NAMI NJ. The main purpose of this organization is to provide services and education about mental health in their communities. They recognized that this was the true for other cultures as far as needing this mental health and support. So this organization offers multicultural groups resources, education about mental health to address the mental health needs in an appropriate and cultural manner. That's freaking huge, huge, so huge. Because listen, again, there's no covering needed. This is who we are here. Donna's Touch LLC. Bless up Donna E. Williams. She is a coach and a public speaking. She has a public speaking business. She's a public speaker, and she is the brain trust, the driver of Donna's Touch LLC, where everything she touches comes from the heart. With love as a foundation, she's leveraged Donna's Touch LLC to create her speaking business, Masterpiece Communications. I like how you did that piece. Clever. I see you. I see you, Donna. And this subsidiary was designed to educate and empower her clients to become leaders in their own lives. Very much about getting beyond the covering and being their authentic selves so they can help others become leaders in theirs. Donna's here to speak about her future partnership with the BKC and Act Now to bridge to bridge the gap between men, women, and our communities. Ladies, thank you, thank you, thank you.
You.
Thank
Thank
you.
you. Yeah.
I want to open up
Amazing.
the space if you have some words before we do our Q&A.
Yes, I have something I would like to say. This is an amazing presentation, Paul. You are very, very um, detailed in how you present yourself and talk about your transparency with yourself and how you are beginning to heal and continuing to heal. And if we're being honest, we all are in that same space, continuing to heal. We're just not
True
going that
words.
journey the same way.
Mhm.
And I am so encouraged by what you say and how you opened it up. And one thing that came up for me that I'm looking forward to working with you on is women feel the same way. I think we don't admit it, but women feel the same way with the armor. And when you were talking about it in the meditation, oh my gosh, that was amazing. To just really be able to close my eyes and think about what is my armor protecting? What am I doing? How am I showing up in the world? And one of the things I created is I went from sister safe space to our safe space. And I said that I changed it because I wanted it to be a safe space for men and women to come together and for us to bridge that gap and figure out the disconnect, why we feel the need to be separate in our actions and in our healing. So, but
Mhm.
that's something we can definitely visit at some point. But I really wanted to just thank you and thank you for putting this together. Mariam and I were like, hey, Paul is amazing. We need to do something, and he needs to talk to the people, and we need to get out here and find out how we can assist them in this. And that's where this brainchild came from. So we're so
Woo,
thankful.
child. I appreciate you too so much. Thank you for like the opportunity. Like, hey, you want to do something? I was like, yes, I do.
Yeah.
Yes, I do. I'm ready. I got something. I got something.
Yeah.
Mariam, I want to open up the space for you. Is there anything you'd like to say? Share.
Yeah, I just want to say thank you, Paul. When I first met you and I heard your presentation at the Act Now conference, and I saw how authentic you were. And I know one of the problems or issues or challenges we have in Act Now and in NAMI is getting brothers or people of color to come out and one, find people that they can relate to, and two, to allow themselves to open up, to be vulnerable.
Mm,
And one
mm,
of the things I really got from you was that ability to relate. I mean, I'm a
mm,
mother, I'm a wife, and I know that most of the brothers in my family would be able to relate to what you are saying and what you're doing. So if
mm,
they're, and we need it. I mean, truly we need it. I'm so concerned about our brothers. I'm concerned about our sisters. Donna, you got that? I'm real concerned about our brothers. So I look forward to working with you in the
mm.
future. I'm really promoting these kinds of programs. So thank you,
Bless
thank you,
her.
thank you for being available.
It's my pleasure and honor to be able
Yeah.
to present this because this is important, and this is an important collaboration as well because we're looking at men, women, and communities.
Hmm.
Like I think there's I was reflecting on this the other day when I was getting prepped for this, and I was and we for those watching, we're about to get into the Q&A. We did our pre-work. This was a co-creation and collaboration piece. So when I was reading, just getting some insight from about Act Now in Nami, New Jersey, and Donna's Touch, I thought it was one of the key things that stood out is men, women, and communities. I
Hmm.
think right now there's a divide of like men protect men, women protect women. We gotta do this. Okay, that's cool and everything. Now, how do we integrate?
Yes.
Okay, how do we lift? Okay, what did you learn? I learned this. I learned you. Oh, Chuck. Okay, let's build up.
Mhm.
Let's build up. So that's one of the beautiful things about these types of spaces and these types of collaborations. I'm excited for more things to come, and I want to open the space up for a little Q&A. I know Neftari, I don't know if she's still watching. Thank you, thank you, thank you. She provided comments about some of the things that we protect. So since there are no questions right now, I'm curious if you two have questions or if there was something specific that stood out in the presentation that you want to talk about before we start wrapping.
I have a question, Paul, because of course I invited every young man that I know of to this particular session. Is there any way or any approach that I could take that would make this more appealing to them, or that, especially if they don't recognize the importance or the significance? Is there any phrases, anything I can say or do that might help make it more attractive?
I think it's purpose driven. Men are naturally purpose driven.
Okay.
So being able to, and this is my judgment, is that, and what I'm finding is that a lot of men I come across in some way, shape, or form experience this thought and feeling of being stuck. And the thing that's the block is that a lot of men will still unconsciously think, well, I got to figure this out for myself. I don't need that. No thanks. I'll be fine. This is good. No, I'm good. I'll figure it out. But the thing is that it takes too long. And I'll be free saying it takes too long is that it can take they can get there quicker. I think one of the things that really prevents men's development and also community development is that we're getting in this space of being free of sharing wisdom. Like, hey, listen, man, like, and also sharing wisdom, but also being open to hearing it. Like I think one of my greatest increases in trajectories was being able to get a coach and listen to him. And listen to the mug. And and I've had male and female coaches. Like, look, listen, that's the piece. I think that there's a lot of men right now, and I want to encourage men to understand, listen, no one gets there alone. Your vision is the drive. Yes. So you were gifted with that specific vision, and you are meant to accomplish it with the support or assistance of others. So it's being able, like I was talking about with the mental faculties, like I think being able to put things out here, like men's mental health. It's like sometimes I think men will be like, no, there's nothing wrong with me, man. What are you talking about, man? Mental health. Child, please. You know how long it took my sister to get me to a therapist after my dad died? Like 2 years.
Can I piggyback on that?
Of course you can.
So it's fortunate that it only took you 2 years. There are people that never understand that they can't do it alone, and that mental health is just important as physical health. Mental health is more important than physical health because as you said in your presentation, as you start to take all of these things on and not address them, they cause dis-ease in your body. So I caught that. So it's like there is a way, and people, because a lot of people don't realize how those things happen. And I also think that men and women have to be in the space to be open to understanding that there is some help that they need and that they're going to. It's here and it's been here, and you have to. And I don't think there's anything specific, Mariam, that you can say. Because I struggle with that too. And it's like, when you're ready, come see me. When you're ready, text me, email me, call me, and I will have someone I can refer you to, or a space I can to, or I'll coach you myself, whatever the situation is. But people need to understand that, number one, they can't do it on their own. Number two, that and I wanted to share this. I was at a funeral yesterday for a cousin of mine who died at the age of 97. No regrets. And the thing I learned from that service was we have to rely on our AI. And she meant by that was African information, ancestors, infrastructure, ancestry, You know what I'm saying? Inclinations, the things that our ancestors taught us, showed us,
Mm-hmm.
gave us, are the things that's going to help us be able to move forward. So when you don't think you can rely on anyone, you can always rely on your ancestors, your parents, your
Yep.
grandparents.
Mm-hmm.
Somebody told you
So,
something.
Right, right.
yeah.
Well, this is one of the reasons I like to incorporate those types of journeys,
Mm-hmm.
because there is wisdom within us, wisdom that's passed down lines. The thing is, there's few or any ways of teaching, consistently teaching how we access that. Like if you
Mm-hmm.
think about back then, there'd be stories like, yo, I remember Uncle, Dad, Grandpa, this used to do that, Doug, and blah blah blah.
Uh-huh.
Now they're really not telling stories because like the grandparents go to a home, kids are in childcare. There's a whole this is coming back to men women communities, right? So it's like it's a part of being. I see the space and being willing.
The willingness. Mm-hmm.
Willingness is a high vibration. I'm like, you know what? I'm about to go there. I'm about to pull it up.
Uh-oh.
Um, but like I will, because I like to look at vibrations and things and frequencies like this, right? So one of the things that's really interesting, frequency funnel, yeah, frequency funnel. One of the things that's very interesting was I pull this up here is that willingness. Look how high willingness is on this thing here. I'm going to share this. We're doing this impromptu.
Mm-hmm.
So here, share. Wait, okay, present, screen share, window in this. Okay, so like, look at this here. Okay, so now if you notice, see how this is willingness, this vibration, how high
Mm-hmm.
that is.
Oh yeah.
So one of the things about this, and this is a lot around the work that I do, and why the circles are important, because sometimes putting some therapy on something, therapy may not work for a lot of people. Yet having a circle where, especially as I've experienced for men,
Mm-hmm.
they can get to share and voice and be heard, and if when the circle's right, they can get questions. They can get support. Like, hey, let me ask you a question. Have you thought about this? Bless up, Omar. Have you thought about doing it this way or that way? So
Mm-hmm.
now it puts it in the funnel. So wherever a person is, there's going to be other people on the frequency line to get them to move up. Like, for example, if someone's in shame, we can get them to guilt. That's an improvement. But look how
Yeah.
high willingness is.
Yeah.
So when you ask about, hey, what's going to get them here? To be willing is above courage.
Yeah.
I mean, look at that.
Yeah.
And
What?
pride. And pride.
And look,
And even
don't.
desire. Even the desire. Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. Look at that.
Yeah.
So I just think it's important for us to acknowledge,
Mm-hmm.
and this is in my judgment a lot of the work that gets to be done on the community level, because again, this is being willing to move past perceptions, being willing to move past stories and rewire them. Like, those are the things. A lot of people, when it comes to change, their ego may start to be like, nah, I don't need that.
Yes. I hear it all the time.
Right. Yet there's a call in the gut, be like, I think I need that.
Mm-hmm.
They'll find a way,
Yeah.
you know? So share, subscribe, all that good stuff. Share this with people. Share this with men. If there's something that came across, please put it in the comments. I will follow up. It may not be swift,
Mm-hmm.
and I will follow up as soon as I can. But like, leave some comments, leave some thoughts
Mm-hmm.
about what you heard today, and please share this with another man of color. Share this with a man. Share this with a woman. Share this with everybody, because
Yeah.
you notice that concept of covering. This is everyone. This
Mm-hmm.
wasn't specifically for men. This is something that people do on a regular.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It
Oh,
has impacts.
can
Yes.
you put that? I know you said it was going to be on YouTube and on your website. Can you put that information either in the chat or on the screen?
Sure. As far as where they can find the information.
Where
Yeah.
they can find the information and even the video of this if we want to show it again.
Yep. Absolutely. What I'm gonna do is it's recorded on YouTube.
Okay.
So I'm gonna share the link. Everyone that registered, thank you. You're gonna get an email from me. with all the resources and next steps. And then people that get the video, the YouTube video, all the information to contact me, and also for Donna's Touch and NAMI New Jersey and Act Now and all the goody goods with the wave. That's all going to be in the show notes. Okay.
Excellent. Great. Thank you.
That's great.
Thank you, everybody, for tuning in. Oh, you know, I got one last slide because, you know, listen, you know, I had to do it. I had to do it. Thank you for showing up, everyone. Thank you for showing up. I appreciate you. This means a lot to all of us to be able to present this, to be able to help others. Like, please, man, there's help out here for you. You can be free of struggling on your own. And listen, it's not about like you got to rely on somebody. All it is, you just may need a course correct, my dude. You just may need a course correct, a realignment, get you back on tune. Then you're good.
Yeah. All right.
Please. All right. Yeah. And look, man, you got me over here pleading on a webinar.
Yeah, I'm joining.
Oh my gosh. Okay. What's up, everybody? Thank you for showing up. I appreciate you. Until next time. Peace.
All right. Peace. Thank you.